in like 15, 20 years, when they have that commercial that says if you had the vaccine in 2021, you're entitled to compensation. I'm kind of banking on that to help me reach retirement sooner. Like, I'll be okay if I can't use my right leg if I had like a fat bank account. So
My thing is more just like, so this week I had like every time it gets cold or every time it gets hot, I'll get like a weird sinus thing. And I had that this last week. I'm just like, yesterday was the last day I had it. I don't know if you guys can still hear it in my voice, but it's like a little bit of a sore throat and congestion. And like, one, you don't want to go out and pass anything off to anybody, but like, you also don't want to share with anybody that you might be sick, because there's like 2 in 5 people that are like, you got the Rona? Like,
And at everything is Corona now. You can't be regular sick.
exactly. That's exactly it. And I oh, I just don't even want to deal with it. I remember at my gym, I was telling the guys, like, I've gotten sick twice in the last year and a half. And the last time I was sick, it was something really minor too. As a matter of fact, I think it was like this time last year when it was getting cold. It was my thing, like I usually get. And I was like, hey guys, I'm not going to show up to the gym for a while, for a couple of days, just to make sure, I don't pass on. It's good manners to not show up while you're sick with anything, whether it's COVID or anything, so that you don't pass it off to anybody. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not COVID, because like, it's just not that serious. It feels like the same thing I get every year at the same time of the year. So I think I'm good. And everybody was like, that's what a guy with COVID would say. And I'm like, Jesus, guys, everybody calm down. Like, I know my body. I know what I have. I know what I'm almost 40 years old now. I've dealt with this for like 25 years. So I'm going to be okay. But yeah, there is like this reaction that was just over the top, where I was just like, oh God, so many of you who I think are smart and I respect, like, you just made yourselves look like idiots, You're like, oh.
Yeah, there's no like distinction anymore. Like, there's this guy at church that when he gets stressed, he'd get like sores in his mouth and like get a sore throat and stuff. And so he'd been working a lot of hours, and he's like, oh, like my throat's sore and I have these sores in my mouth. He's like, but I've had it before, so I'm just gonna go to church. And then he started like losing his smell the next day, and he's like, oh crap. And he went and got tested and he was positive. So like, he had exposed everyone at church to it. But like you're saying, like, it was just normal symptoms for him, depending on like where he was at, like in his amount of stress, and kind of just if you have allergies that are bad, a lot of times those symptoms. So I don't know, there's not it's good places are opening back up, but I've heard some stats that like the seasonal flu and stuff, those numbers have been a lot lower, just because of all the precautions and stuff that people are taking. But there's definitely a balance. So that's kind of why I'm hoping if California opens up more, that at least by July and August, we'll have some more options for doing stuff. People can still be cautious, but it doesn't have to be one of those things where it's like, oh, if your grandmother's or your family members in the hospital and super sick or might be dying, like, you can't go visit them, like that kind of stuff. Like, that always seemed like really like overboard to me, but I don't know.
I think we're headed that way, because I think today they just came out that it's going to be changing from 6 feet to 3 feet.
Yeah, that's in California for sure.
I kind of like if it would just stay at 6 feet. Like, when I'm at grocery stores or like Walmart or Target, like, I never like someone being closer than 6 feet to me anyway. So that's been kind of nice. But
you guys don't go to Asian grocery stores, do you?
I used to go to Ranch 99 when I lived in San Diego, but we don't have a lot of those kinds of stores out here, Marty, in Arizona. Unless you get like in the Chandler area, or like there's like specific populations that are more ethnic than others. But
well, the only reason why I bring that up is like, it's a joke in the Asian community at like Ranch 99 or Asian grocery stores that Asian people don't know personal space. And so, you'll be looking at like the freezer where the dumplings are at, or the pot stickers, and like you'll feel someone breathing on your neck because they'll be like standing right next to you looking at it, but there's like nobody 20 feet to the right of you, nobody 20 feet to the left of you, just like standing right next to you. It's kind of a controversial time to say that kind of stuff, but you know, just remember I am Asian, so I can talk about that stuff freely.
No, I get super passive aggressive. If there's someone at the grocery store doing that, like I'll just kind of stumble, but like hit their cart really hard with my hip or something. Like not their physical body, but I'll take out their cart with my cart and just act like it was an accident. Like, oh, sorry, I lost control of the cart with no one else around.
Matt, can we talk about your sidebars that you got there, the distinguished gentleman? Yeah, good for you, man.
Yeah, I got like a bunch of gray now.
Look at you, dude.
I don't know if that's a good thing. I think the last 7 years were so hard on my body that it was just like, okay, we're going gray.
You look like you should be wearing corduroy jackets and like
with the patches on the elbow, like a pipe.
Exactly. So, drinking a whiskey nightcap every night with like a really old book in your lap.
I'm going to do that for the next podcast. I'm going to go to Goodwill and I'm going to find some corduroy.
You should make it a theme. I have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't own any blazers. I've always felt like weird trying to dress up. My like highest level of dressing up is a polo shirt that I might tuck in.
What's the like? What tips you to one side or the other to tuck it in or not?
If the shirt's long enough, I don't know if like, because I have a really weird like body ratio. I have like these really short legs, but a really long torso. So a lot of times, since I sag my pants still because I can't grow up, if I tuck in the shirt, like if I stretch like that or like that, like all of a sudden my shirt's untucked anyway, so I just give up. But I think the last time I wore a tucked in shirt was my wedding 3 years ago.
I have the opposite problem. My shirts are typically too long, and so I have to tuck them in.
I love that problem. If I raise my arms up too high, like if I'm doing stuff like overhead presses at the gym or something, like my shirt turns into a midriff.
Well, I'm on the opposite extreme, meaning like if I leave it untucked, it'll come down like and hang above my knee. You know, that's a issue. Nobody can tell with it tucked in, looks totally normal, but you leave it untucked and you're like, oh, actually, that guy's pretty short.
I wouldn't mind just wearing a robe everywhere. Just get like a terry cloth robe, and like I already have like house slippers that if I'm going out, I'll put socks on, so it's not like super trashy, but I'll just wear my house slippers like to the store. I just stopped carrying.
It's all about Crocs.
Yeah. Those look nice.
They're the fur lined ones. So in the winter when you're cold, they're nice and cozy. Or fleece lined, I should say, not fur.
You have to be careful with those outside. I have a pair of Crocs and I was wearing it in our yard, and there was a piece of wood that was about that big, and I stepped wrong and it went through the heel of the Crocs and like about 3/4 of an inch into the heel of my foot.
Oh, God.
That didn't feel good. Yeah, people hate on him, but it's all about comfort now.
Jacqueline, you must not have sweaty feet.
Well, no, I don't. But I have the regular ones too, and those are more, there's some aeration in those. But I've honestly, one of my pairs, I have several pairs, and one of my pairs I got for my honey. And I will have been married for 13 years this year. So I've had them for 13 years and they still look brand new.
Wow. So 2008.
You just wash them, like rinse them off and you're good to go.
Does 2008 still feel like yesterday to any of you?
Sometimes.
It does to me.
Yeah. Well, it still feels like I just graduated from college like a few years ago. But I was talking to my dad about that once, and he said as he got older, like the only clue to him that he was getting older was that his body started giving up on him. Like stuff started hurting, or like you can't move around as fast, or like even now if I sit and watch a movie for like an hour and a half, like I have to stretch for 5 minutes when I get up so I don't like hurt my back.
That's the thing, man, is I was laying in bed last night and I was like, how is my back hurt laying in bed? Why, like, how can you just lay down and be in pain? Like, that's when you're not supposed to be in pain.
I was thinking about that because we were at Target, and like in my early 20s, my idea of fun, I was like, oh, I'm gonna join a band. We're gonna like play at bars and go and tour and like can have groupies, and it's gonna be so fun. But then like now my idea of like excitement is I was in Target and saw like a loofah on a stick, and I was like, oh, that could wash and scratch the parts of my back I can't reach when I'm in the shower. Like all that just weird stuff. Like, I don't know, I guess kind of like with the shoes we're talking about. It's just,
yeah, I've been going down a rabbit hole, getting really excited about buying a massage gun because
ooh, yeah.
Nelly Riddle uses one on me when I go to see her.
Is it a fit gun?
What's that?
Or not a fit gun, is it the Theragun?
Yeah, like a
Like
Theragun type of thing. And whenever she brings it out, I feel like she's like, should I bring out the Theragun? And I'm like, it's like so much like mystique and power behind it when she talks about bringing it out, and man, like that thing just, it's amazing how effective or how much technology they put into those things now, because I'm looking at like 12 different ones on Amazon right now, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many different things that you could do with these.
And they range anywhere from like $60 to like $500.
Yeah, I'm like, $500. Oh my God. But then there's a couple of those, the Theragun one that's like $599 has like 40,000 reviews, like all it's like a 4.3 star review rating for that gun. And it's $599. You're like, man, that's amazing. And I feel like I've spent like an hour and a half reading those reviews, just like going one after the other, reading the reviews, getting stuck in that kind of weird place where you're trying to make a decision. So I'm hoping to pull the trigger on that this weekend, and that's like my big plan for the weekend.
Yeah, it's like where you spend the week reading. That's what I've been doing for like. I'm getting a router this weekend, so I just like at night I just lay in bed like scrolling reviews and like looking at different models and stuff, and just kind of daydreaming about like that big purchase on the weekend.
And Ellen, my wife, is like, give it at least 3 days before you buy anything, so you can be sure that you've made the right decision. And I was like, man, thinking about something for 3 days before you do it is like, that's so grown up. Look at me.
I will tell you, I got one off of Amazon that had good reviews, but it was like 160, and it still works good, but it's like super noisy now because it's not made like of as high quality parts. So like the mechanism, like the piston that actually like controls the like the little ball that's on the end that does the massaging, like that gets a little bit loose. So if you're actually interested in it because it's something you want, then I'd drop a little bit more money on it. You'll notice a difference. Like this one, I'll probably have to get a new one in a year or so. So they maybe last like 2 years if you spend 160.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys feel like that since the vaccines are becoming more prevalent, more people are feeling more confident about like going out and being around people? I mean, it's obviously happening with the loosening restrictions. And then we should probably talk about the survey results, right? What was it? The last time I looked at it, I think it was 18 that want to push it to 2022, and then like 11 that wanted to do the low-key bonfire. Is that what it's still at?
I can check. The last time, it wasn't even at that. The last time I looked. Let me look.
I didn't vote yet.
I voted. I wasn't sure if I was not supposed to.
I was just actually thinking like maybe we could do both, you know?
It's at 18 votes for 2022, 10 votes for low key summer bonfire, and 1 for late 2021.
Got it.
We had talked about just trying to do something like this summer just for the sake of doing it. And then like if we had a formal and exciting, because that might be good this summer if we did that like for people that are in the area or close to the area, just to get together for something fun to look forward to, and then actually have our like formal, I almost said 10-year reunion. It's 20 years, right?
Yeah,
it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So we could do that in 2022 so that like people have more time to plan and recover from the last year and a half. And
Okay. Yeah. I'll email Lynn again and see what she has to say. What has it been now? 3 weeks since we talked to her?
do you want to tell all of our viewing audience who Lynn is and what we've been talking about with her?
Sure. So Lynn is a reunion planner, like I guess like a wedding planner, but like a reunion planner, and she does everything for you. That's her services. She sets it up, helps you find a venue, helps you negotiate the costs. Her fee that she takes out of it comes out of the ticket sales that happen for it. She's told us that in terms of ticket sales, you'll get 90% of your ticket sales probably within the last 2 weeks before the reunion, and then even some the night of the reunion. She highly recommends that we hire somebody like her, you know, for all the obvious reasons, because she wants to make some money. But she made a really good point that hiring somebody like her to man the booth and, you know, do the ticket sales and to hire the DJ and decorations and stuff like that means that none of us have to be tied up doing that kind of stuff, and we can actually enjoy the reunion. And it was a pretty good point, at least I thought, when she made that. And so we've been in touch with her when COVID-19 hit. We were talking to her and I think 1 or 2 other companies like her that did what she does. Things kind of just ground to a halt like everything else. We've been sporadically reaching back out to her. We were never really sure we wanted to use her for a couple of reasons. She had like venues that we weren't super excited about, and the ticket pricing that she was talking about we thought was a little too high, and we weren't sure she could negotiate it down to where we wanted it to be. So we were looking at some competing quotes, all of it ground to a halt, as anybody would expect. And so we've been kind of touching her as our main point of contact, the person that we've been in touch with the most to kind of ask where things are going and where things have been. As of 3 weeks ago, and a lot has happened in the last 3 weeks, so this could have changed. But as of 3 weeks ago, she said there's nothing happening yet. There's no venues that are really accepting reservations. It's still a wait and see thing, but that she would reach out to us if anything changed. I have the feeling that she would start reaching out pretty immediately if she felt that she could start booking stuff, because that's her livelihood. But on the side of that, we were also working on maybe doing a luau. Somebody really smart and creative came up with the idea of doing a luau. And because it's outside, and, you know, Madison High School, we always had like luau type of events at the school, and, you know, Southern California, all that good stuff. But all the venues that offer luau's in San Diego are not taking any reservations for luau's right now, and they don't know when they're going to start taking reservations for luau's. As of 3 weeks ago, that was the most recent update that we had gotten. You guys think I missed anything?
We've been working on this for the past year and a half, trying to plan it, and COVID came and just kicked all of our plans out of the door, pretty much.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to see what we can make happen.
Worldwide pandemic, go figure. You know?
And not to be too much of a salesman, but I think one of the things we were struggling with at the beginning, right, was anticipating the turnout. So obviously, who we hire or what we do, a large part of that is going to revolve around or depend on how many people we can get to commit to it. So like, even though Lynn was saying like you get more people like 2 weeks in advance paying for tickets, we can't, she's not going to work for free essentially up to those 2 weeks. So I think that was what we're talking about, right? Where we have to kind of lock in a certain number of people and amount. And regardless of if that is the turnout on the day of, then we're kind of looking at just having to either foot the bill for whoever doesn't come, or hopefully in those 2 weeks we make up enough numbers if it's short prior to that.
Yeah, she gave us cool statistics. Well, not necessarily cool, but insightful statistics that for your 20-year reunion, you should only expect 10% of your class to show up. And interestingly, if you look at the surveys that we've been doing, 28 people who have been responding to the surveys is right at about 10% of our graduating class. And so if you say that we got 100% of those plus one, then the total turnout for the reunion would be about 60 people. And that's like, I don't know if you guys remember, but that's like exactly what she said we would get, right on the dot. So pretty interesting that, you know, she called it, and that's the kind of activity we're seeing so far, you know.
Is there going to be complications? I don't know if we talked about this before, but with, I think we did maybe early on about like people with children and stuff, because I think we're planning on it being just kind of an adult thing, right? Like the actual Madison graduate and then a +1, but then that's kind of the extent of what we're planning on. It's not going to be like, even if we did like the bonfire or the luau, I didn't know if we had talked about or considered if that's going to be I don't know if the luau, if we're going to want, or if we had planned on having children there, or I don't even know like how, like the age of children, because I think Jackie, you're saying your kids are like freshmen, like are they high school age now, or are they middle school?
So I have a high schooler and a middle schooler.
Okay. I think because I don't have kids, I just imagine everyone like that I went to school with like having toddlers right now.
Yeah, a lot of the age range varies. There's people who
Yeah.
had young, and then there's people that are just having them now. So you have a large variety. But I think what we didn't specifically talk about the luau, but we did talk about like if we did a formal reunion, that would be for the graduate +1, but possibly either like the night before or the night after, doing like a family picnic type of thing.
Mhm.
I know that was in a very early conversation that we had, but I think not knowing what we're doing, it's kind of hard to plan that. But I know that we had also a lot of people agreed to do it in the summertime, because the people that do have to travel, their kids are off of school. So it's easier for them to travel and attend. Whereas during the school year, it's harder to get away.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a benefit of us trying to do something this summer and then having a formal one in 2022 would be if we did something this summer, it could be a lot less restrictive for people that wanted to go. But then I don't know if that would, if someone came to like whatever we do, if we did a bonfire this year, if they'd be like, oh no, I've already seen people, so I don't want to go again in 2020. I've kind of, but then it'd probably, if we did something like that, it'd probably only be people that were close geographically to wherever we had it, versus I don't think anyone's going to be flying in out of state or driving in out of state for a bonfire on a weekend. But if, huh?
You are.
Yeah, but I don't have the limitations. I'm still immature, so I can just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna drive 12 hours for a bonfire on a Saturday night.
Not 12 hours, at least 6.
Well, round trip.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's where things are at. I'll send Lynn another email after we wrap this up today to ask her for an update and where she thinks things are at. My gut instinct is that she would have reached out to us as like one of the top of her list to try to kick something off if it was really in a place where we could get things moving again. But, you know, I think I saw on the news, President Biden was saying by July, you could have the 4th of July with friends and family. You could have a barbecue with people over. So maybe that means, you know, August is not off the table for getting something going.
Okay.
Continue to monitor the trends. Like I said today, they said it's changing from 6 feet to 3 feet. So things are changing every week, it seems like. So I think we just have to keep monitoring it and go with the flow type of thing.
Yeah, just for the listening audience too, I want everybody to know you don't have to worry about me because Jacqueline's on my ass. I know I was not the intentional class president. I was vice president, and then when Stephanie Jenkins decided that she wasn't going to finish her senior year at Madison, someone's got to be moved into the president role, and go figure, the vice president is the first person that they do that. So it's important to me. It's important to everybody who's participating in these meetings. But just know that Jacqueline's better than, I think, definitely me. She's like twice as good as me, and then like 1.5 times Matt. But Matt's pretty damn good too. And so she stays on top of us to make sure that we keep talking about this. So don't worry. It's
You're being nice. I'm flaky.
No, Matt's good. So I wanted to say that because we only have 3 minutes before Jacqueline has to jump off, and we'll get this processed and uploaded. Anything else we should think of to say?
No, I think that's a good introductory recording for people to watch and kind of see at least kind of behind the scenes of what we've been talking about and going through. And then I imagine next week we'll already have gone over most of the information, so we can tease them with the exciting types of conversations they have to look forward to.
Committee meeting, start with the business, but then it always veers elsewhere.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some other people to participate in these meetings with us, and it'll kick up some more interest. I want to say, when we first started trying to organize this, like our first meeting had like 18 people on it. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, was this a good idea to have this many people on?
It's made the decision making a lot easier, it being just the 3 of us.
True. There was a lot of head chefs and not enough line cooks early on, but now we're in a place where we're like, no, forget it, move on to the next thing. We just need to get this thing moving. Cool. All right then, guys. I think that wraps it up for our first recorded podcast update for the reunion. Hopefully we'll get this posted tonight. It's Friday, March 19th. Hope you guys got some good laughs out of it. I do every time I talk to Jacqueline and Matt, and hope we'll get more people to engage with us.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for doing it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.